Hey, welcome to the first ever weekly video vision update at the Christian Life Center. My name's Josh, one of the pastors here, and there's this really interesting yet true story that we found in thousands of years ago in Genesis chapter 11, where there's a group of people trying to figure out a way to have purpose in their life, and they think their purpose is to make a name for themselves, and they think the purpose is to get themselves back to God. So they kind of come together and go, let's build a massive tower so we people will be impressed with us and we can earn our way back to the heavens, right? Well, a couple problems with that. One is the goal of life is not to make a name for ourselves, right? The second one is this: is that there's nothing we could actually do on our own behavior, our own merit to actually earn our way back to God. That's why the name we're trying to make great is Jesus is. Why? Because He's the one who actually makes a way back to God. In fact, the way that we describe it at the Christian Life Center is religion is man's attempt to either get to God or become a God, right? And all about how we earn it, how we can produce, how we can follow a checklist. But if you're like me, I've come to some conclusions that there's nothing you can do on your own to to meet all the rules, all the requirements. So religion is man's attempt to get back to God, and Christianity is God's perfect attempt to get back to us through Jesus. So in Genesis chapter 11, as they're trying to sort through this plan to make their own prestige, their own fame, and earn their own salvation, their own way back to God, God goes, that's not a very good plan. In fact, um, that's just going to ruin your life. And he comes to the conclusion that human beings are actually capable of doing some pretty amazing things. We know it, and you see it with all sorts of technology. Human beings are capable of doing some really great things if they set their mind to it and do it collectively, right? So he comes up with this crazy plan to kind of thwart, slow down, stop, impede their ability to build this tower. It's so crazy. He doesn't like light the tower on fire. He doesn't strike them dead. But what he does is he takes away their ability to communicate, right? And that's why it's called the Tower of Babel. He literally made it where they spoke different languages and he separated them and then took away their ability to communicate. Now, and so pretty important to understand is that you want to ruin something, you want to stop something, you want to impede something, even something great, even something that could be great for God, right? Even something that'd be really good for bringing the kingdom of heaven to earth. The way by which you do it, you separate people and you take away their ability to communicate. We're in the middle of this crazy COVID world, and it sure seems like we've been separated, and our ability to communicate has been taken away. And so, what we're doing at the Christian Life Center is trying really hard to communicate with you in lots of modalities, lots of forms. From we have the website and email and the the app. You got an app on your phone that we can send notifications through. We have the quarterly publication that's kind of an exhaustive amount of information about what's going on in our church, and then we have a weekly newsletter, and most of all that those things are kind of focused on helping communicate to you what is going on. Now, and then we also have the sermons on the weekend. We're teaching the Bible. We're talking about hour of uh, opening the Bible and studying it. And then we had the Tuesday video podcasts where we kind of dive deeper into what we learned about on the weekend. And then you got student ministry podcasts and women's podcasts, all these different things. But so much of our communication is about um, what we're doing, right? Yeah, this weekend we have a movie night. That's what we're doing. And so what I don't want to get lost in translation, like the Tower of Babel, because we're separated and we haven't had the ability to communicate very well, is I don't want you to miss out on why we do things and how you can be involved. So each week we're going to talk about the why and the how. So that's what brings me to this video. I'm trying to keep it under 20 minutes. Aim is about 15, just to update you on all sorts of stuff, why we're doing it, and then how you can get involved. Got it? So our mission at the Christian Life Center is to make it simple for people, that's you and me, to connect to Jesus and to one another. So we're trying to figure out, how do we actually help remove the obstacles so that people can see and know Jesus, and then how do we create community for all of us? And the way by which we think about that is going, how can we be a good steward of everything God's entrusted us? So every penny that's given to the church, every resource, from our land to our church building to all of our video equipment, how can we use all of it to that end, to make it simple for you and me to connect to Jesus in one another. The reason for that is not just because we think it's a cute idea. It comes from the Bible in Luke chapter 3, where John the Baptist, if you were here this past weekend, you heard all about him, makes this proclamation that someone else actually made, Isaiah, 700 years earlier. And here's what it says. It says, prepare the way of the Lord. Make straight paths for him. Remove every mountaintop. Fill in every valley. Make every crooked path straight so that all mankind, all humans, all flesh, right, can see and know God's salvation. So our job, our responsibility, the why behind the what, the make it simple for you to connect to Jesus and one another. It's because God gives us a prescriptive mandate to go and remove obstacles. So all we're trying to do each and every week is remove the obstacles so that you and I and our neighbors and our classmates and our coworkers and our family can all see Jesus. So trying to figure out how do we remove all those obstacles from lots of different things. And so the way about how we usually do that, what we call our strategy, right? We kind of do three things. We talk about building excitement. Building excitement is the idea that the gospel really is good news and it's worth celebrating. In fact, the first miracle we see Jesus do is at a wedding banquet. He actually helps with the party, the excitement that comes with who God is and what he wants to do in his kingdom and in our communities. And so the way by which we mostly build excitement is we focus on how do we help people really see and understand Jesus. So each and every week we are singing songs about Jesus and to Jesus so that we can remind ourselves that God is good and he is faithful and he is making a way where there seems to be no way. He is bringing the kingdom of heaven, that glorious kingdom where all things are right and perfect, where there's no tears, no pain, no sorrow. He is ushering that in to the earth right now, and we get to be excited about that. So we sing the songs and we open up the Bible and we declare the goodness of Jesus and invite people, make it simple for people to connect with him. So we build excitement. And what we hope happens, part one of our strategy, build excitement, is we hope happens as people actually hear this, they become excited about it and passionate about it. And at that point, we hope this happens for you, that you would self-identify, right? You would go, hey, I'm excited. I am interested in being a part of it. That's where you can fill out a Connect card on the weekends. In fact, you can actually text right now our church phone number, 610-869-2140. And you can just text the word new there. And we could gather your information and follow up with you. Because what we hope happens is you would become excited about the goodness of who Jesus is, right? If nothing else seems to work, right? The way C.S. Lewis says it is, if I find that there's nothing in this world that can satisfy me, perhaps I'm meant for a different world, right? And as you've come to the conclusion that you're meant for a different world, and the way that you get to experience that world, not just in the future and eternity, but now is through Jesus. We hope you get excited. We hope you self-identify. And the second part of that is then we hope that you want to actually build your foundation, build your life on the truth of the Bible and the truth of who Jesus is. And so part of our mission, again, is to make it simple for you to connect to Jesus and to one another, right? And so something really important that we don't just get excited about Jesus, we actually enter into covenant relationships with each other where we go, hey, I'm chasing after Jesus and I'd like to do that alongside people that can do three things, right? Hold me accountable to the things I'm committed to. Help me feel like I belong, to have a sense of community, and three, to help me participate in caring for others. ABC, right? And so we had this whole plan of going, how do we actually help people build community? And I'll explain to you how we're going to do that in just a second. But we hope happens as people learn more about Jesus, become more like Jesus, get in community around Jesus. What happens is we actually become like Jesus. We actually become like Jesus. And if you know anything about the scriptures, or if you don't, I'll tell you. What we know about Jesus is he said he came to seek and save those who are lost, meaning those who have no idea that they are loved, cared for, that God has a plan for them. And that plan includes you and him, us forever, them and Jesus forever, right? And so what happens inevitably is as we become like Jesus, we can't help but practice what Jesus practiced in this world. We operate with humility and service, right? To serve other people, to care for other people. And so we hope that happens as you get excited. You decide to start building your foundation on Jesus, and inevitably what will happen is you can't help but long to go and serve other people, invest in other people. And that's the third part of the strategy. We talk about build excitement, build foundations, and the third part is build bridges. I love the the Greek word for, the Latin word for priest, pontifex, right? You're familiar with it. It literally means to be a bridge builder. When you look at the scriptures, there's this idea of the priesthood of all believers, meaning we all as Christians, are bridge builders into our community. And so what we hope happens is, as you and your community that you're building, as a church body, we actually want to go and invest in the life of our community. We want to go build bridges. We want to go uncover value. We want to go bring excitement and events and celebration into our community, right? Because that's what Jesus does. But not just to uh, throw a party or have some fun, right? But to actually then invest in them and invite them back into community, invite them into the church family, invite them to show up on a Sunday, listen to a sermon on Saturday night, whatever that is. Invite them to be curious about who Jesus is in hopes that, guess what? They also would be excited, right? So we build bridges so that we can help more people become disciples, become excited about the gospel. So it's just this cyclical pattern. We build excitement, we help build bridges, and we help build foundations, we help build bridges so that more people can be invited to become excited about the gospel and then sign up to uh, build their life around Jesus with a foundation in Jesus, and then get excited and become like Jesus and go and serve others. So it's just this strategy that goes. All we're trying to do here is make it simple for every man, woman, and child in our community to connect to Jesus and to one another. And so, in many ways, we're really excited about that, and it becomes complicated as we look at this COVID complex world. And so what I want to highlight specifically today is two things. First, I want to highlight how you can right now and how you should, right? Yeah, jump right into building foundations. And then I want to share with you a little bit about, since we're not using the church building that much right now in light of COVID, what we've decided to do right now in the middle of this chaotic world to be good stewards of the space, the facilities that God has entrusted us. Two things take me a few minutes, so here goes, right? So where I think we can do better, right? We want to make things better. We want to participate in that. We want to take personal ownership and making it simple for people to connect to Jesus and one another. And one of the things that has become really evident, particularly in light of this COVID complications and coronavirus and shutdowns and masks and social distancing, is that it's really hard for us to gather in person. And I'll tell you more about how we're going to try to continue to do that next week. Come back next week and I'll give you some real good steps of how we're going to worship well, both in person and in our homes. But not only just gather and worship, one of the things that's become really evident is that a lot of people feel really alone and isolated in our church and in our community, which leads me to believe that we haven't done the best job of helping you build a foundation in community, right? If our goal is to make it simple for you and I to connect to Jesus and one another, that one another piece seems really important and lacking. So where our time as staff has been spent for some of us is in trying to figure out very clearly, how do we help people gather together? And we have a solution for that. And that solution is small groups, right? So one of the things we talk about is helping people get out of rows that's sitting in a pew listening to someone preach at them and into a circle, into a small group where they're held accountable, right? You're saying, hey, I want you to walk with me and help me do the things that I think Jesus wants me to do in my life. And that's a place where you feel like you belong, right? So you're no longer alone, and gives you the opportunity to not only be cared for, but also care for others. And so that is a huge component of our strategy, right? Build excitement, build foundations. And it just seems like right now we need to double down and invest resources right now, not in the future, in helping you get into a small group. So some of those will meet in person in people's backyards, by their pool. Some will meet outside at our church. We have 60 acres over there. Some of those will not actually meet in person at all, depending on where you are and kind of the COVID complications. And many of those will actually just be in online format with Zoom or FaceTime or Google Hangouts or any of those different kind of options. And so what we are committed to right now is helping every single person who's hearing this, every single person who is in our church, every single person who's maybe not even in our church, but looking for this. We want to commit to making sure every single one of us gets an opportunity to connect in a weekly or twice a month group where we're known loved, and cared for. So that requires two things. One, we need to increase our capacity, which means we need additional groups, lots of additional groups, which means part of how you can get involved right now is actually having the courage to self-identify and go, I want to, or I'm interested in, would consider hosting or leading a small group, whether that's online or in person. Now, you don't have to be a Bible expert. You can do it. We can help. We can equip you with all the resources you need, from online Bible studies and video series and books that you may be able to work through. And we are committed to helping walk with you in that. So if this will be your first time, have a little courage and just self-identify and go, hey, I think I might be interested in leading a small group. The more of you who are willing to lead, or maybe you have another couple or a couple friends or family members who you can go, hey, would you help me lead? We need lots of you. I'm talking about 50 of you listening to this video to self-identify and go, I am willing to try to be in a group and lead a group. Now, some of you have said, well, let me just help you with this. Some of you said, I've done that before. I've tried a group. The people are weird. It didn't work out. It kind of imploded. It didn't work very well. Or I tried to lead and it didn't go well. And you have some bad experiences with small groups. We understand that, but hear me out, right? You've also had a bad experience with getting your hair cut. Some point in your life, you have gotten your hair cut and you go, oh, that was a bad haircut. And what do you decide? I'm not going back to that place to get my hair cut again. But you go, I still got to get my hair cut again, right? So let's just view small groups in the same way. Maybe you shouldn't be in that group. Maybe it's the wrong group, but there's still lots of options to be in a group. So some of you should lead a small group. Others of you, maybe you're not ready for that, but you should be known. You should be able to be cared for and have some community. And we are committed, everything about our church is committed to helping you get connected in a group. So you're not ready to lead one, but you're ready to join one. So let me tell you how, right now, I hope every single person who's hearing this, right, who's not already connected in some kind of life-giving group within our church, I want you to do one of two things. Right? If you want to lead a group, you can either click on, in the captions, there's a little form that you can click on. You just click it, and it will take you to this quick 30-second form where you can give us your name, your number, your email address. Tell us how you'd like for us to communicate with you and share your interest in either leading a group, being a part of a group, or maybe you're kind of on the fence about which one to be. If you want to lead a group or in a group, so you can just select that, you can hit submit, and within the next week, we will follow up with you. So if you want to do the online format, you can just click on that caption right now. And obviously, if you're watching this online, you have access to that. So just click in the caption, that link, and you can do that right now. Now, if you don't like online forms, or you're watching this on your phone and you don't want to try to pull it up on your phone, let me give you another option, okay? You can actually text our phone number, 610-869-2140. That's a church number. You can call that number at any time if you have prayer requests or anything else. But if you don't want to talk to someone right now, you can text. Now, hear me. If you just want to be in a group, you can text our number. You can just put in your little text option, 610-869-2140. And all you got to do is put the word join, Join. If you just want to be a part of a group, join. That's it. Hit send, and we will walk you through kind of a 30-second process to get your information and let you know that we'll be following up with you soon. Now, if you are interested, even slightly on the fence about maybe you'd be willing to lead or host a small group, you'd text the same number, 610-869-2140, and then right there you can text the word lead, L-E-A-D, lead, L-E-A-D, to that number, 610-869-2140. Again, we'll walk you through a quick 30-second prompt, and someone in the next week will follow up with you and begin this process. And here's my hope that every single one of you would jump in on this. This is my promise to you. On your first day in heaven, I promise you, you will not regret signing up for this group, right? This could be the very thing that transforms everything about your life, your family, your future, your trajectory, all those things, right? I know people have found jobs through their connection in their small group, found love and care and some more support, walk through some really, really difficult things. So we want to build excitement and we want to build foundations. And many of you believe Jesus is real. And your next right step right now is to self-identify and get in a group. So yeah, click on the link in the caption or text lead or join, depending on what you want to do, to the number 610-869-2140. right? So that's what's going on with groups. Want you to get involved. You can do that now. Please, please, please have the courage to do that today, right? That's the why and the how. And now one other thing that we kind of been working through as we look at what's going on with schools. We've been asking the question, how can we help? How can we help parents, two-income parents, one-income parents, whatever that is, that people have to work and other things to do, and now you have kiddos who are doing virtual school, right? So we realized that was a big issue in our community, and we realized that one of the big obstacles in that issue is the cost. And so we've been hearing about different options out there that seem to be pretty expensive, and so we kind of sat together, some of us, and go, how can we help? And what became evident is we have lots of great space in our church. Upstairs at CLC, downstairs at CLC, thousands and thousands of square feet. Plus, we have the new London Presbyterian Church building, and we have 60 acres outside. So we came up with a conclusion that there's two things that we can do. One is we can open up our downstairs space, reopen the coffee shop, create ways by which you can socially distance, double down on our internet speeds and and capacity and bandwidth, and create lots of space downstairs for you and your friends, family, to create your own little cohort. If you want to come in, grab some coffee with a couple other parents, and you guys use the internet, use the computers that you've been given by school, use the headphones to just use our church space as a space where you can do the school stuff, right? You can do it. We can help. Maybe you find a couple people and y'all just do that, right? Free of charge. You just show up. The space, our space is your space because it is God's space, and we want to be a good steward of that. So there's indoor options, outdoor options, and that is available and will be available starting September 8th, right? Now, on the other side of that, many of you are going, well, that'd be really helpful, I guess, but I still got to go into my workplace. Some of you are nurses, right? Some of you are essential workers, and you have to go to work, and there's some trouble going, what do we do with our children? So that's the second part of our kind of our solution, and that's called the CLC Learning Hub. Right? Now, there's a cost to that. It's $150 for the week. We basically said, what's the cheapest we can do this, and to be a good steward of all of our resources and our space? What's the cheapest? What's the least amount we can do this for a family? And so the number that we've come up with is $150 for the first child, $100 for each additional sibling. Right? But here's the dilemma. We're actually going to staff this based on our actual needs. So, if you're interested in that or know someone who's interested in that, would you please, please, please go to clcfamily.church/hub. HUB. You can also see it in the caption, clcfamily.church/hub. You can read all the documents about it, the frequently asked questions, and there's a place where you can enroll your child and pay the registration fee right now, or you can call 610-869-2140 and ask some questions, and we'll get you connected to the right person, or you can just email Molly at clcfamily.church. And so one of the dilemmas is we have up until this upcoming Wednesday to actually kind of get our ideas of what the full enrollment will be, so we can staff it accordingly. So if this is something you're interested in, maybe you're going to try figure out some things in the next couple of days, would you let us know by Wednesday so that we can make sure that we can staff it for you and your family and your neighbors as well? And again, if you've got any questions, email us or call us, but clcfamily.church/hub. So that's what's going on right now. We're going to make it simple for people to connect to Jesus and to one another, and we're going to keep telling you about it. But for now, your steps are, let's get you in a group, either sign up to lead or join. And for many of you, maybe it's trying to figure out how to participate in the CLC Learning Hub, and you can get that information online. That's it. Got any questions? Feel free to email me, Josh at clcfamily.church. Text us at 610-869-2140. Give us a call. We love you, want to care for you, and can't wait